Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Mark Owens, George Politarhos.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
My
How
man,
great
now
was
look.
that?
Now, me and
Morning,
you have
Mark.
talked a little bit over the past week, but our first show since your Philadelphia Eagles are the 24 or 25? It's a 24 season. Would
Right,
you call them the
24.
25?
I don't know. They're Super Bowl champions.
The Eagles
all
are
that
the
matters.
Super Bowl champions of the world.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Congratulations.
How great of a my voice over a week now. My voice is still hurting me.
As it should.
And we weren't at a party. It was just Leslie and I at home, and I'm screaming at the TV, and I was using, I guess, not pleasant
Expletives?
words. Yes, that's the word, expletives, whatever
Expletives?
that. And what a great game. It reminded me of the great Muhammad Ali going to the schoolyard and seeing like a 6-year-old kid and getting just pummeling the kid. That's what it felt like watching this. The Eagles defense played, and Hurts played outstanding. Barkley played outstanding. They were so worried about stopping him, they didn't want to stop anything else. The offense, but the Eagles defense was flipping ferocious.
Really.
Just outstanding. And to be a gentleman, which I'm not usually, but to be a gentleman, the Chiefs defense played really well, but they lost. And our friends out in Kansas City there, St. Louis, a certain father and daughter combination you and I know, Mark. I am waiting for my Eagles jersey for you to be wearing on Facebook and telling us how great the Birds are.
You know, we were on a text thread with some friends of ours who were diehard. I'm about to say, leading up to the game and all last week, there was a lot of trash talk. But about halftime, boy, that text thread went silent.
It's odd when you're the only one texting. Me and Achilles are just like popping these things out, and there's no response.
Yeah.
It's like the black hole in space.
I guess I could say I have a dog in the fight.
You do.
Them Georgia Bulldogs look solid for the Eagles, but man, I was thoroughly entertained. If not, actually, George, a little bored. Because
I
by the end of
agree.
the game, those are some trash touchdowns at the end by the Chiefs, but Eagles just did their business, and by the halftime, I think it was pretty much over.
And it's a prime example, Mark, that the Chiefs thought, this is ours. They know who we are.
Yep.
We're just going to walk into this game, and they're going to lay down, and it's going to be everyone kissing and throwing roses at the Chiefs.
I want to get to that in a second there because, again, family first retirement. Of course, we're going to talk about your retirement strategies and talk about your money. But I do want to go back a week ago on this exact radio show where George Politarhos said this.
I have my prediction, Mark. I don't know what you think. I mean, this is Georgia North for you. Obviously.
Athens North, yeah.
I think you're going to see something like 34-20 Eagles. I really feel very confident.
Dude, that was 22-40.
Bam! That's
Wow.
pretty darn good, brother. They never scared me. I didn't feel any uncomfort thinking up to the game. And I think that people they read the headlines. A lot of teams read the headlines.
Yep.
But it's about getting ready. You just don't get there and think, well, I'm here now and I'm the 2-time champion. You should just allow me to win. You have to work for it. It's a lot like what we do for our customers and clients and family members, Mark, at Betray Your Wealth. We work to get you there, but just don't cruise.
How many people do you find walk into retirement going, all right, I've done okay with my 401k. I've got a little bit in savings. I'll be fine. I've got this. Is that a problem?
It's a huge problem, I think, because people forget there's 2 stages to your retirement. It's the stage you get to as you're going through the regular season and a couple of the playoff games, where you have to just keep working really hard and accumulating your wealth. And then you have to get into retirement, and you need to put, like the squirrel in the wintertime, getting all the nuts back.
Oh, yeah.
You got to protect that pile of money you have in the management part, because you're not feeding into it anymore. You're not working, so you're not contributing funds. And you need that money now to last those 25, 30, 35 years in retirement. You have to have a different mindset. And there's a really interesting article that came out, and it's in Money Talk News. People that do their own management of the retirement funds are underperforming compared to having an advisor work for you and work with you. And the numbers are drastic. The difference is substantial because you have someone that does it every day. That's their job. At Betray Wealth, that's our job. When we sit there and we're working with you, we are playing the Eagles defense. We're going to be coming in your face every day to protect that, to grow, because you need some safety in retirement, but not all the money goes underneath the perennial mattress in the bedroom. You still need some risk, but it has to be a balanced attack. And that's what makes it so important. Give me a call, 302-330-2166, and let's talk about what makes it different. How's it work for me? Mark, I always tell people we are not the same animals. We're different. Mm-hmm. My wants and needs and desires are different in retirement than Mark Owens. But we have different needs, wants, and desires. And you need someone that's going to pay attention to you. We always say that. I think people, when they come in, they say, I didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
It didn't work well. I didn't save as much as I should. I didn't do like my brother or my cousin or my neighbor. And they put themselves down. And that truly bothers me, because we are so well trained to look in the mirror and find every flaw, every wart, every imperfection, because we didn't do so-and-so. That doesn't happen here, because you did a heck of a job. Folks, if you've accumulated $200,000+ towards retirement, whatever it may be, a 401k, a 403b, savings, CDs, money markets, you've done a great job. My job now is to help you. You've done the hard work. You did the lifting. We're going to help you make that transfer and move over for retirement. When you stop by our office at 501 Silverside Road here in Wilmington, 19809, we're going to help you not see those warts, but see how good you did, because you did outstanding. And we're going to help you go forward. But it takes two of us, right? It's not an individual. A team works together. The family at Betrayal Wealth works with our family members to help them succeed, grow, and be prosperous. When you call me at 302-330-2166, let's talk about that. I think you need to talk about how we're going to accumulate this wealth. How's it going to be managed going into retirement? How are we going to look at taxes? How are we going to do long-term care? I know that's a subject people don't want to think of because we're still 20 years old in our minds.
Right.
I mean, I stand out of the chair watching the game and I'm screaming. I'm like, oh, part of the screaming, my back's
Jumped
tight.
up to cheer, threw my back out,
Yes.
lost my voice.
But we're sitting here now. Let us do the hard lifting for you. You did the work.
Yeah.
Let us make sure it works for you. And let's talk about those topics. If your advisor you have isn't talking to you about taxes, he is doing you a misjustice. I always say, we talk about long-term care. People say, I'm not old. I didn't say you're old. I'm saying we need to plan. Those events happen. We are going to plan for it, because you don't have enough money if you need to go in long-term care, folks, as a rule.
Yeah.
You have a bucket of money you're never going to touch, and that's my wife and my long-term care. It's not enough when you look at the costs. Let's do something, make sure we can make sure that our kids aren't worried about that. Let's have that conversation. Let's sit there and talk about the things that you don't want to talk about. If I'm not talking to you about them, you need to hear it, because I'm doing my job.
That's right.
And if your advisor's not helping you, he's not there for you. He's there for himself.
302-330-2166. The Eagles proved that they had a plan of attack going into the Super Bowl. What is your plan going into retirement? Because I'll be honest, it is great to celebrate a victory. It is great to be celebrating parades and people are still hungover all week, as you should be. But think about the celebration when you clock out for the last time, knowing that you're never going to have to go back to work and knowing that you have income to last through the rest of your life. It all begins with a phone call, 302-330-2166. Let George Politarhos and the team at the Betrayal Wealth Group help build these strategies for your retirement. Again, 302-330-2166 are always available at betrayalwealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A wealth.com. And George, last weekend, got a great call from a young lady. A little nervous, a little curious, and she simply asked the question, George, help me understand what I'm doing wrong. And it's a very simple question, but George, I think financial advisors sometimes get in the weeds, talking about a volatile market, talking about 401ks and RMDs. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. So somebody listening right now, still in a great celebratory mood, but always thinking about their money, and they're asking themselves, what am I doing wrong? How do you answer that question, George?
I think the biggest problem a lot of times is people think they're smarter than the average bear.
Yeah.
You're great at what you do. And folks, I talk to Mark 4 times a week. We're great friends. Mm-hmm. I could never do his job because he's so fantastic at it. He's not good at building cabinets, so if you need your cabinets built, do not call him.
That's true.
But for the radio production, the radio producing, how he manages the show, how he works within this realm, there's no one better. And that's the problem, I think. People think, well, I'm great at doing this. I have to be great at doing that. It's not what your muscle memory is made for. The biggest problem people are having is they think they're smarter. They've seen it on DIY. The internet says X, Y, and Z. It doesn't work that way. I think the problem that people have is that they feel as though they're smarter and they don't want to have the expertise come in and show them why we are the experts. Let us look, because I think of things that you're not meant to think about. I look at things in a different light. You're very this way, very one tone, you know where you want to go. My job at Betrayal Wealth, my team's job at Betrayal Wealth, is to see the obstacles, do the tax planning. Even if you say, George, I don't want to do tax planning, I'm going to take my chances. Not a problem. But you need the facts. You need someone that does it every day. And that's the biggest problem. They want to save themselves a couple pennies here and there, and they cost themselves dollars and time. Let us do that for you. Call us, 302-330-2166, and let's have that conversation about what's the best plan for you. And I always say this, but we're not the same size. You go to one of these big box firms, Mark, and they're going to say, you're 55 years old? Great. This is the plan for you. And they slide you down the assembly line.
Yep.
We build your retirement to you. It's customized for you. Maybe, and we have a couple great customers coming in this week, but they're talking about how am I going to start transferring the generational wealth that I've worked so hard for to my children and grandchildren by minimizing my taxes. That's a huge topic. If you're not talking about how to pass on your wealth or how to minimize what you have to pay the government, why'd you work so darn hard? It's your money.
Yep.
Let's make it work for whatever you want it to work for. But the first step is always having that conversation. It's like when I want to go away and I'm talking to Les, and I know I want to go away with my buddy Mario and we go to Atlantic City for the night.
Right.
And I'm trying to think, oh, Lord, how do I bring this up? How do I say this?
You bring
and
this
that
conversation.
First, yes.
I hope you
it's
start
that
with, honey,
first step.
You look
honey,
great.
you look marvelous today, Kukla. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. Dinner last night was phenomenal.
The peanut brown jelly was fantastic. But it's that first step that's awkward, that first couple moments. But after you get past those first moments, and those first moments for you is when you call us and we start talking and I start to ask you questions.
Yeah.
I hate to be questioned. Why do we go this way, George? Why are we doing this? But we need to ask the questions, because the only way I'm going to figure out what you want to do and what you really want inside is by asking questions to get you to squirm just a little bit. But that's the process. We need to push through that awkwardness to get to where we want to go.
302-330-2166. And this weekend, if you've saved at least $200,000, $250,000 or more for your retirement, that could be spread across your 401k, a savings account. If you're lucky to have the pension, that's really where the power begins for George to start building upon your retirement portfolio. We invite you to call right now. It's a no-cost, no-obligation, family-first retirement plan. 302-330-2166. And we know you're still celebrating. We know you're still on cloud nine. Even if you just call and hang up so you have the number locked in, feel free to do that. But we do have a representative standing by right now. 302-330-2166. And look, I don't want to kick the Chiefs while they're down. But
why not?
You know what? Yeah, who am I kidding? They went into that game thinking they had all the answers. They went in prepared to take down the Eagles. But apparently they didn't have all the right answers. Do you have the answers that you need for a proper retirement? Reach out to George this weekend, 302-330-2166. I want to go back to that conversation we were having a couple of minutes ago about some of the mistakes that we make as adults into retirement. And George, one of the money mistakes that we do as guys is, what do we want to do? We want to open a bar. We want to have that little corner bar where we can hang out with our buddies and watch sports and sling cold beer and bourbon. But, George, that's one of the worst mistakes you can make in retirement.
Absolutely. You sit there and you make such a life-changing event. How about when you're 75 years old, you're in a nursing home, you want to go buy a boat?
No.
That's a great idea.
No, it's not.
Just because you like doing things doesn't mean you have to buy that and spend that hard-earned money. I think it's about financial responsibility, about the wants, because it looks really cute and great to have that bar, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, how much fun.
I mean, my buddies can come by. It's my theme bar. It's an Eagles bar. You know, it's a Phillies bar. Come on, it's my sports bar.
We can make that in my garage.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have the garage door open. You can walk in anytime you want to and do something that's relaxing and enjoyable. you need to think about this, what you want to do. And here's a prime example about that transparency, I think, when we talk with our spouses especially. That shouldn't he or she have something to say about what we're going to be able to do as a couple in retirement? You think it's a great idea, Mark, for us to have a bourbon bar. Mm-hmm. I can tell you right now, Leslie is not having it. And I love my wife, and that would be definitely something that her and I would be speaking about. But those plans in retirement, we need to talk it through. Whether it's taking that leap of faith and opening that bar where we can have an Eagles bar right next to the door to the other Eagles bar, or if it's getting that speedboat when I'm 70 years old, because I think the cigar boat sounds really cool.
Right.
But to make sure it's really something that you want to do. And everything has to make sense. We just had a stand-up meeting this past week, and we had union members from the Postal Service coming in to get educated more on this option they have. They have a separate option for this. And the one thing that we talked about was you just don't do something to do it. You do something because it makes sense. Things have to make sense to go forward, whether it is I'm retiring today and my pension starts in a month, or I'm going to take this early option to retire and get some money, $10, $15, $30,000. Sounds like a lot of money, but a lot of times it's not. You have to have a plan. And that's why I think it's so important with the Family First Retirement Plan, Mark. I don't sit there and tell you you're going to do X, Y, and Z because X, Y, and Z is what everyone else is doing. We're doing something because for your situation, it makes sense. And these are the reasons it makes sense. And then I want you to think about it and understand how we're going forward. If it doesn't make sense to you, what good is it? And that's what we're here to help you with. When we talk about this at 302-330-2166, we're going to look at all these different options. We're going to see what makes sense, what is just that impulse buy, and what is going to be the value that's going to make sure you get to do whatever you want to for the next 30 years. And have the freedom that you've earned so much by working all these 90,000 plus hours over the last 40 years.
That's right. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. We have a representative standing by right now to talk to you, to get you on the calendar, to sit down with George and the team at the Betrayal Wealth Group. You can always get more at betrayalwealth.com. Before we get out of here this weekend, George, there was a story that went viral, and we're always thinking about how to save you money in retirement and to protect your assets. The latest viral story is from a young lady who sent out invitations to her birthday party. You know what I'm going with this one. She is charging, to come to her birthday party, she is charging $499.
Can I go?
Well, yeah, if you want to come with me, that's going to cost an additional $250. Now, you're probably saying, well, that's probably got a great band. I mean, who's going to be playing that? Probably top shelf liquor and catered by a 5-star restaurant. That doesn't include any food or any drink or any entertainment. George Politarhos, that's when I would respond and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. We have something else going on that day. Well, have fun. Post some pictures on social media.
Folks, serious story. I helped the customer get into retirement. They did all the paperwork. We had the retirement plan put together. We did some opportunities for them to be in a better position going forward. He's having a retirement party.
Yep.
Him and his wife are giving themselves a retirement party. Great. I get an invitation for Leslie and I to come. We do that a lot of times. We go to retirement parties.
Sure.
I get to go to weddings, christenings, unfortunately funerals, right? Mm-hmm. But it's part of the nature. And with this invitation is a cost of $250 per person to attend his retirement party.
I'm sorry, to what?
My answer was absolutely not. I would bring a gift. That's a normal thing. You're going to charge me $500 for Leslie and I to come? No.
I would have said, I'm the one that helped you get here.
That's exactly. You should be paying me.
Yeah, there should be like some kind of list out front. I need to be a comp on that one.
But, it's funny. At least they brought it up front.
That's true.
This girl and this gentleman I dealt with, at least they brought it up front. How many people don't realize the fees and the charges that are hidden within products that they're dealing with? I love when a customer comes in and they work with XYZ company, one of the big box firms. And they say, I don't have any fees in anything. I'm like, great. Let's bring in that portfolio. Mm-hmm. Let's bring in that variable annuity you have. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. And then we start tearing apart the information. And what's this mortality fee mean? What's this mean? What's this? You're paying 4, 5, 6, 7% in hidden fees because we don't know how to read these. That goes back to the DIY, Mark. Same thing. This isn't what you do every day. It is what George does at Betrayal Wealth, what Achilles, what Angie, what Jared, what Alex, what Ernie Callias, our strategic business partner, CPA, does. We see this. We know what we're looking for. And you may be happy paying the fees. Great. God bless you. But at least let's admit and show you that there are the fees there. You need to be aware of your surroundings. That is how these hidden fees are for most people. We're playing the trumpet, playing, looking at the balloons, and Portrayal Wealth is behind you saying, there's a fee right here. This is how this is working. That's how this goes. Because that's the way we're wired. That's our nature of the beast that we are. That's a conversation we have all the time. When you call me at 302-330-2166, we're going to discuss those features, those benefits. And I don't mind paying fees. Fees are not always bad, right, Mark? We understand that. But at least I want to know what I'm paying.
Right.
I want to be on a level playing field. Going back to that Eagles game, tell me you didn't think Eagles fans in the first quarter when we threw the long pass to A.J. Smith and they called a pass interference. Did you not think, where else are they hiding from me? Are they trying?
Yeah.
But at least we know it's open. Let us show you those fees. Let's go through the costs. Let's make sure it makes sense. And more importantly, when you have those plans you currently have, you've had for years with XYZ, why not let me look at it, make sure it's still doing what it's supposed to do? Let's make sure it's still doing what you want it to do.
Right.
When you call me at 302-330-2166, or better yet, go to Portrayal Wealth, P-A-T-R-I-A, wealth.com. Let's schedule that no-cost, no-obligation meeting. Let's give me the chance to show you what we have to offer you, good, better, and different. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, at least you got the education, the information, and the knowledge to move forward making the right decisions for your retirement.
You may not know how much you're paying in hidden fees, and that's not your fault. It could be buried deep down in the fine print. It goes back to that conversation we had at the beginning of the show when the young lady called last week and she just said, help me understand, what am I doing wrong? You may not be doing anything wrong, but there may be some aspects of your retirement plan that you just need a better understanding of. That's the Family First Retirement Plan from George Politarhos and the team at the Portrayal Wealth Group. And if you've saved at least $250,000 or more for your retirement, it's no cost, it's no obligation. 302-330-2166. Again, 302-330-2166. We invite you to call today to get on the calendar to sit down with George at your convenience. You can always get more at portrayalwealth.com. George Politarhos, thank you for the information. Thank you for the education. Thanks for being here this weekend. I truly thought you'd still be out celebrating this morning. So I am grateful.
I didn't tear down a light pole. I definitely didn't climb a light pole. And no cars were turned over in the Brandywood development.
You know what? You are growing up, George, and I'm proud of you for that. Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.